Three, two, one. Hi, I'm Noah,
Hi, I'm Nick.
and this is the Pretty Artistic Podcast. Now, I came up with this name earlier today, Pretty Artistic, because I
Yeah.
think it encapsulates us both pretty well. Uh, I am a student at Madison College for Visual Communications, and
And I am also a student at Madison College for communication arts.
okay,
So,
so yeah, we artsy background,
Mhm.
music, movies.
yeah.
For some reason, sports. I don't know how that makes sense, but we both like sports
Yeah, for
somehow.
sure. Yeah.
Kind of non-stereotypical nerd behavior.
Yeah, it's true.
But anyways, this is our podcast, and we plan on going through a lot of different topics throughout this because we have a lot to talk about, and
Yeah.
most of it's bullshit. But that's totally
That's
fine.
correct. Yeah.
It's totally fine. And I just wanted to start out. Have you seen any movies recently?
Recently, the last thing that I saw was on Netflix. It was a movie called Apostle, and it was a super gory horror movie set back, um, I think at the turn of the century, and it was a bunch of people actually. They go out onto an island and try to create this new utopian village, but it ends up becoming very dystopian. It was really good. The director, I can't remember his name, but he had also done the Raid series. If you've seen any of those movies,
I have not.
they're also very good. But
Oh.
yeah, that was good. I'm trying to think about what else we've seen lately. We tried to start watching Thor Ragnarok, but that we didn't end up getting through.
I heard that's really gay, but I don't. I have nothing to base that off of 'cause I haven't seen it.
Wow, yeah,
But it's like I don't know.
Thor.
Yeah, Thor being gay. Me personally, I watched Neil Breen's Double Down for the second time with a
Yes.
group of people I know. Just as rage-inducing and nonsensical as the first time I saw it, but
Perfect.
still a wonderful watch. Um, I highly recommend it. I would never watch it by yourself because you would want to kill yourself the entire
Ooh,
time.
yeah.
But it's very good.
I would add. I just remembered. Well, my mom and we watched the first Purge recently,
Oh.
and it was fine. I can't. There's a lot of stuff that was kind of entertaining, but there's a lot of shit in there, and
Mhm.
yeah,
They kind of blew their load early, to say the least, in that
Yeah.
movie. I felt like I remember I haven't seen it in quite a while, but
yeah.
a lot of shit happened early on,
Mhm.
and it just went nowhere.
Wait. Just to clarify, are you talking the original Purge movie, or are you talking
The one that came out in like 2012.
Yeah, that's the original Purge, and yes, I agree with that. And the guy who mugs at the camera the entire time. But I saw the prequel movie, the most recent Purge movie that's called The First Purge, which is uber confusing. But that one also very similarly during the beginning and middle parts of the movie, really entertaining, and then you get to the end and the entire story kind of falls apart.
I
So,
mean, yeah.
it's par for the course for the Purge
E-
series.
exactly.
It's just dumb.
Well, anyways, I guess that's just movies.
Yeah.
I have nothing really more to say about movies this week. I've
Yeah.
been too busy with this goddamn class to do anything else.
Yeah.
And as we mentioned before, we're both avid sports fans,
Yes.
particularly Wisconsin sports.
For sure.
A little depressed this week after a pretty disappointing performance
Badgers get blown out
against
this week.
Michigan
Yeah.
and John Harbaugh or Jim Harbaugh, one of the fuckers. I don't know their name.
John Harbaugh.
John, yes.
I think Jim Harbaugh.
Jim-
No.
Baltimore Ravens, maybe?
Wait, hang on. Now I gotta search this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
No,
Jim
it's
is.
Jim is Michigan.
Yes,
Yes.
John
Jim
is
Har-
Baltimore.
John is
See,
Bal-
this is confusing. Sports are confusing, and we haven't even got to the
Why
sports
would
yet.
you name both your sons with J names, you
Because
dicks?
people like continuity.
Jim
I don't
and
know.
John, eat me.
And
Personally, I think that Wisconsin can still make it to the Rose Bowl. I think it'll be really tough to win the Big Ten championship. Their secondary needs to get healthy, but I think that their struggles right now are because of the inexperience versus and coaching versus just lack of talent, lack of being able to do it. I think it comes down to inexperience in coaching.
they definitely need to win out for sure.
Well, yeah,
I think getting to the Big Ten championship might not be that hard, considering our half of the division kind of blows.
blows.
But I mean, if we have to play Ohio State in the Big Ten championship, we're not winning that game. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
mean,
Although Ohio State just struggled against Minnesota this last week, they weren't looking uber impressive.
true, but they have their fully healthy secondary.
Yeah.
Ours, I think we played 3 out of 4
Like
freshmen
true freshmen, yeah.
who had never seen even a snap.
Yeah, I mean, we have a non-existent secondary, but again, that's an experience.
And even when our starting secondary was playing, they weren't exactly playing well. Like
Yeah.
Nick Nelson, as talented as he
Scott
might
Nelson.
be,
Nick
Scott
Nelson
Nelson.
went to the NFL.
Yeah, right. Scott Nelson, as talented as he is, he tends to make big mistakes and
Right.
let big plays happen. Like in the Nebraska game, I was at that game.
Well, and the drawing the targeting penalty was
That wasn't good
not
either.
acceptable.
Um,
But let me ask you. So they have to, their 2 toughest games I think left on the schedule are at Northwestern, at Penn State. Northwestern particularly because they did beat Michigan State by double digits, and they almost beat Michigan. They led 17-0 for most of that game.
yep.
Do you think Wisconsin goes into Evanston and wins that? And then with Penn State, do you think we have a hope in hell in Happy Valley?
I think we can win both games,
Yeah.
personally. I think Northwestern, their best football is already behind them. They couldn't beat Michigan.
Mm.
And I think they played as well as they possibly could in that game. As Clayton Thorson, their quarterback, he's pretty talented.
For sure.
But I don't think they got it against us. I think our defensive front and our linebackers particularly will definitely get to him, cause him some troubles. Like TJ Edwards, man.
Yeah.
I love him.
True. Yeah, for sure.
He's going to be a future NFL talent.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then with Penn State, I think without Saquon Barkley, that offense really isn't that scary.
No. Yeah, I agree with
they
that.
have not shown to be that good, and that's why Trace McSorley just dropped off the Heisman
list. Yeah.
he's just not even close to what they thought he would be.
Yeah, right. Well, the fact of the matter is they're 0-2 in big games. They choked against Ohio State, and then they choked against Michigan State. So I would agree.
And
with
I would
that.
say we're better than Michigan State for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because Michigan State, they're like a cheaper version of us right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we can definitely win both games. It's just about if we actually show up or if we play like we did against Michigan.
Yeah, I agree with that. And
Alex Hornibrook definitely needs to have a comeback game.
Right. Well, and this week is a good week for a comeback game because we're Illinois at home. It's
Definitely
homecoming week.
Definitely winnable.
Yes.
By the way, fuck Lovie Smith.
Fuck Lovie Smith. Yes, I think we can agree with that.
Yeah, this is coming from a Bears fan too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, me no liking the Lovie Smith. No, thank you. Anyways, playoff baseball's happening right now. Brewers just lost to the Dodgers last night.
Oh Lord.
We talked about me being a Bears fan. I'm also a Cubs fan.
Yeah.
And most people are expecting me to be like, "Oh, fuck the Brewers." Like I'm not a.
Yeah. Right.
I really absolutely have no horse in this race.
But it's a rivalry, Noah.
It's
a rivalry.
I legitimately don't care if one makes it and the other doesn't. I hate the Dodgers just as much as I hate the Brewers.
Dodgers. Here's my thing with the Dodgers. You know what? I would be first of all, the Brewers, I think, with 2 home games left, they have the home field advantage, and this is where it really comes in clutch. Whether they will be able to deliver, it's hard to tell because they're in a real cold spot right now, and they need to really get out of that. And if they can win this Game 6 coming up, I think they have a good chance at winning Game 7. But, again, that remains to be seen. But I would say with the Dodgers, I didn't feel any particular anger, animosity toward them until I saw Manny Macchiato, who is a
Machado.
Machado.
Yep.
Thank you, Manny Machado. Who
Macchiato? Did you say macchiato?
I did say macchiato.
He's not a drink from Starbucks, dude. He's a shortstop. It's a
You
little
know
different.
what? It started with an M. I was close.
Close.
Yes, but Machado, he's a dirty player. I mean, he's like Ndamukong Suh in the NFL. Like, dangerous slides. And then there was an egregious in one of the last 2 games, not the most recent game, the game before that, which went into like 13 innings. The first baseman, who I think is Jesus Aguilar, got him out, caught him and he intentionally rammed in the back of Aguilar's foot.
Yeah, like the ankle,
Yeah,
like
the
the
ankle,
Achilles
like it was,
area.
I mean, and the point is, it was an unsafe move and obviously deliberate, which was ridiculous.
How do you feel about
he got
him
fined
only
for that.
getting fined and not getting banned from a game?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that's such a. I think now a couple games he's shown that he's capable of making unsafe moves and being kind of a dirty player. And so like after the first incident when he made kind of a bush league slide, sure, fine him, whatever. The first if it was one or two times, but now this is like the third or fourth time he's done something. Now I think you need to suspend him for a game. I don't know. It's hard to do suspensions in the MLB.
In theory, that would make sense, but the amount of backlash that would happen would be not worth it. Just let him play, and because ultimately it doesn't matter because whoever wins this series is gonna have to play either the Red Sox or the Astros.
Probably the Red Sox because they're up 3-1.
True, who I say are the two best teams in the league by a country mile.
Yeah,
like their lineups are actually insane.
Stacked.
Like every player at each position can hit the ball out of the park
easily.
They have each side has like 4 aces in their rotation and a good closer. It's just
absurd.
It's unstoppable object meets I can't even get the word right, but you know what I mean. It's like two opposing forces that are just equal.
Yeah, you can't. I mean,
and whoever wins deserves it. And but the one that does is gonna win the World Series for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then, as we said, Bears fan, Packer fan over here.
Yeah.
For sure. I honestly don't remember who the Packers played this past week.
They played the Niners, San Francisco on Monday night.
Yeah, Monday night, and to my surprise, 49ers made a game out of it. Like Roger said, he had to go on a last-minute touchdown drive. C.J. Beathard, Iowa, those damn Iowegians. That was a really fun game to watch.
Yeah, it was
personally,
actually,
even as a neutral.
For sure. It was really entertaining. I expected San Francisco to come in and kind of get almost blown out, although you don't see blowouts in the NFL. I expected them to lose by a sizable margin because the 49ers are not doing well. And it's at Lambeau, and that's always a tough place to play. But yes, they made a really entertaining Monday night football game. And Aaron Rodgers, the king of comebacks, the king of the 2 minute, and Noah is salty over here. He is so mad, but he's Aaron Rodgers is Jesus Christ. All right,
to you.
No, he's
my
the
fantasy
second coming of
name
Jesus.
Is Trubisky is Jesus. So I mean, we can agree to disagree. But that being said, I think when Aaron Rodgers retires, y'all are gonna be some sad motherfuckers.
Oh God, he's the one like really absurdly talented player on the team.
The amount of luck the Packer fans have had over like the last 3 decades. First, you got Brett Favre for 15 years, and Hall of Fame quarterback, and then immediately, not like a couple years, immediately after that, you get another Hall of Fame quarterback, and I can't say it's going to happen again because your backup is DeShone Kizer, and he's definitely not that.
Guys, Aaron Rodgers, DeShone Kizer, it's going to be winning combo.
He's not a terrible quarterback. He's just not good.
No.
He's just not
He's
good.
average.
But
no, I'm sorry. I think Aaron Rodgers, he's the king of Hail Marys and last-second wins, and it's just amazing.
Unfortunately, yes. But
he's been on the losing end of many of those.
Yeah. And the Bears did not have a great week either. Playing on Sunday against the Dolphins. It was a noon game on Fox. I was actually at work at the restaurant during this game, getting shit talked by my coworkers the entire time.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you're a Bears fan.
And it started really promising. Trubisky had 2 touchdowns at halftime, 200 plus yards, yada yada. Tariq Cohen was running the ball really well. Could not complain. And then the second half happened. And it just all fell apart. And I think people are giving Brock Osweiler way too much credit because he didn't have a single pass beyond 10 yards in that game.
Yeah.
He had a lot of dump-off plays that went for big just because his receivers are quick. I was not impressed by the Bears' defense this week either, because it's the first time this week or this season where they haven't had recorded a sack.
Yeah.
But I think they game planned for Khalil Mack pretty well. I noticed a lot they had him double teamed quite a bit.
Yeah.
Which, even as great as he is, 2 guys versus 1 is never a winning battle.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, I'm still
They did
confident.
take it into overtime, though. I mean, the Bears go on the road to Miami, put it into overtime, and the Dolphins are actually a pretty good team this year. Although, yes, I agree, Brock Osweiler, a little bit too much credit. Usually is kind of just an okay quarterback. He's played backup almost his entire career.
Sorry, thought I had a sneeze. We're good.
False alarm on the sneeze there.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that'll do it for NFL, I think.
Yeah, unless we want to talk about fantasy, but I really don't fucking care anymore.
Well, let's just have a quick side note here. Mitch Trubisky, you mentioned to me he had like 30 fantasy points and you benched him.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, needless to say, I wanted to kill myself after that. In fact, my entire bench had more points than my starters, because that's... I'm just the luckiest guy in the world.
Yeah.
Fantasy is a sham. It's no skill. It's all... Yeah.
Especially when the head of our fantasy league put us on auto draft.
Yeah,
so
I didn't even get to pick my team.
Yeah, no, we just randomly got teams.
Which is really fucking lame, by the way.
Yeah, right, because whoever wins, it doesn't mean anything. You just automatically got picked the best team. So, Anyway.
I guess that's it for football this week.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else in sports? It's international break for soccer, which is my area of expertise, but...
Bucks are going to win this next NBA title.
Sure they are.
I already have a tattoo on my arm of Bucks 2019 NBA champions.
That was a big waste of money.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
I'm
Giannis...
so confident. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, will lead them to an NBA title.
Well, I would have agreed with you if they had accepted their trade from recently, where they were offered literally a direct swap. Jimmy Butler for Chris Middleton.
Oh, damn.
I would take that in a goddamn heartbeat if I'm either team. Because the Timberwolves, they don't want Jimmy anymore. He doesn't even want to be there anymore.
Yeah, right.
And Chris Middleton, kind of trash. I mean,
Yeah,
really
yeah,
highly overrated.
But doesn't Jimmy Butler have some off-the-court issues?
True. But Milwaukee would keep him in check because that's where he's from. It would be like, it's going back home.
Yeah.
And I would have taken that trade, and that, I think, would have put them over the line to be like a true contending team because, I mean, they got Drew Bledsoe at point guard who's comfortable. Like, he's not he steady, very steady player.
Is this name really Drew Bledsoe?
Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's an old Patriots quarterback from the 90s. I was like, what?
My mistake. Anyways, but
Eric
Bledsoe,
yes.
Very steady point guard, consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Giannis, the Greek freak, just unstoppable. Like, you can game plan for him all you want. Not going to happen.
Yeah, no. Giannis, man.
Yeah.
Clutch.
Antetokounmpo. Can't say it without doing the little accent.
I
mean, I know it's probably culturally insensitive. I just don't care. It's just fun.
It's like singing the Ole thing after Rafael Gaglianone kicks an extra point.
Exactly.
We get it. Probably.
There's probably something wrong with this, but we'll just happily ignore it
as let it slide.
As ignorant sconies.
Ignorant sconies. We're ignorant sconies.
That should be the name of this podcast. Yeah. Ignorant scotty bastards.
I really like really artistic.
Pretty artistic.
It's pretty artistic.
It has some hidden meaning, and if you know what that is, feel free.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, I mean...
Wink.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. And welcome back. We just took a small break to, do nothing. Just sit here.
Yeah.
Next up on the agenda, did you happen to peruse Twitter as of late?
Only, it's funny you asked that, only during that last Brewers-Dodgers game because of that dirty play that happened, and I think...
I forgot I was going to mention something about that.
Yeah.
Christian Yelich,
if
he wants to be a star on the field, he needs to be a star off the field, and when someone does something like that, you just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Like, someone caught him on microphone saying "fuck that motherfucker."
Oh God.
Like, dude,
I know you got it.
as much as it probably pissed him off
Yeah.
for him to do that to his teammate, just let it
Yeah.
go. Beat him on the field.
Yeah.
That's ultimately
that's
going to hurt him more than anything you have to say. Let the game
speak for itself.
Yeah.
And but I was gonna say that when that happened, I went on Twitter. I was watching like the live MLB kind of feed of everybody, and literally everybody was like, "Oh fuck, Manny Machado." Manny Machado.
You mean Manny Macchiato?
Manny Macchiato. Fuck Manny Macchiato. But it was all just fuck Manny Machado, and even from Dodgers fans, they're like, we're Dodgers fans, and even we hate him. And I guess he used to play for the Orioles, and he was kind of a dick on that team.
And he needs a haircut because it's fucking atrocious.
What about that dude on the Rockies who has like a beard and a mullet? And fucking Grizzly Adams.
Charlie Blackmon, I think.
Yeah, Charlie Blackmon. Why? Dude, it doesn't look good.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
If his wife likes it, I don't see why not.
But
maybe she's
mullet?
into.
Sure, keep the giant beard, but the mullet?
Maybe he wants to keep it. I'm a little bit country.
Yeah, the country.
I'm a little bit. I can't even do that. But what I was referencing when I meant perusing Twitter was a certain president of ours. Huge. China.
Yeah,
China. Tweeted about his potential court case opponent, Stormy Daniels.
Horseface?
Calling her a horseface.
Because that's presidential.
Calling her a straight up liar for something that we have on record as something he paid her off for.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, just what the actual fuck? Guys, Donald Trump,
put it down when you're president.
Yeah. Seriously, put your phone down, stop tweeting, and actually take action. Because you have a shitload of scientists that are like, basically, the world ends in 2040. Because the environment's just got to shit out, and tons of death and crazy weather is going to happen. We're all going to die. But no, you're not going to focus on that. You also have, literally every other responsibility. And instead, you're going to sit in the toilet and tweet about how
drinking Diet Coke.
And
is it Diet Pepsi or I think it's Diet Coke.
Diet Coke and wiping himself with $1 bills. While tweeting about having sex with a porn star and how that's not.
Don't forget letting her pee on him. Don't forget that little gem.
No, Russian hooker pee tape. That's serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll ever actually see the video of
the
him?
pee tape? I don't know. I don't know if the
P-Gate
Russians.
2018.
Yeah, 2018. P-Gate 2018. I don't know if we'll ever see the tape for that. I hope that never sees the light of day. But I hope it gets confirmed that that's out there.
I heard Kumail Nanjiani, who is a comedian I respect quite a lot.
Yes.
He was talking about it.
Yeah,
he's just like, could you imagine, like, what if he has a really good dick? Like, what would that do? Because we've all kind of fallen under the assumption that he has to be
tiny dick.
He has to be hung really small.
Very small.
But if he has a good dick, what would that do to us as liberals? We'd have nothing.
We'd have nothing, yeah.
Our entire political views would just go right out the door, right?
Yeah. Well, and don't forget, along with the other kind of macho man as our president, you also macho in quotation marks. Macho. You also have Brett Kavanaugh, who just got confirmed to the Supreme Court, and Mr. Kind of entitled frat boy was like, I worked out with Squee. I worked out with Squee, man.
Yeah, and a Devil's Triangle is a drinking game.
No, drinking game. Everything's a drinking game.
Yeah, I would dare him to go on any porn site and type in Devil's Triangle. There is not an ounce of alcohol in any of those videos. Yeah. Like, guaranteed.
The senator questioning him, was like, bullshit. You know what this is. Like, drinking game.
Drinking game. I play Devil's Triangle all the time.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
All right, now what about this in here? Put the penis in the vagina. Drinking game. Total drinking game.
Missionary. Drinking game. Drinking game.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
No means yes. Total drinking game.
Oh, God, no. This is not Harvard University. No means yes. Yes
Oh,
means anal.
Jesus.
Oh my God, what a
that's
fucking
awful.
a
What a bunch
fucked
of
up
douchebags.
yeah, what a fucked up thing to say.
Yeah, dude.
Um, yeah, just vote. It's November 6th. Fucking
Yeah,
vote.
and actually, I was gonna say on Twitter, I just retweeted, like when I just got out of class today, I was watching this video. Obama was basically they set him up in front of a camera and they're like, "All right, this is 7 excuses people have for not voting," and it was like, "Well, I don't have the time to do it. I don't know where my voting thing is. I don't really care about either of the candidates. I don't.
Attention.
This bores me. The candidates bore me, or the election bores me." And it was really great because he was like, "Look, it's important to vote. Otherwise, you have a bunch of old white senators who do good goddamn nothing.
Yeah.
Vote them out. If you disagree with them, vote them out."
Yeah, and if you don't vote, then if you ever have any complaint about politics ever again,
Yeah.
you have nothing.
You can't talk.
Yeah, your opinion. You chose to not give your opinion.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I can't like during the 2016 election. We have a friend of ours who I saw on Facebook who proudly wrote out a post about how she was not gonna vote. She was kind of she
Point of
felt
pride.
patriotic.
Yeah, I remember seeing that too.
Yeah, right. And I was like, why? Seriously? I get it. You may not have agreed with either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton, but it was important to get out and vote.
I feel like for some people, the consistent contrarians out there,
yes.
they're doing it purely because I don't want to conform.
Right.
And I think
Yeah,
that's
as a protest.
That's really fucking dumb.
Yeah, that's super dumb.
It's as Americans, we have this ideal of being free and
right,
and all this, which is true. We're free than most people, or at least better than third world countries for sure.
Yeah.
But one of the true rights we have to make change in government to get what we actually want is voting.
Yeah.
And if you refuse to exercise that right, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Your voice means absolutely nothing.
And
even less than it does.
Right, and you're part of the problem. I mean, if you don't vote, you have people like Donald Trump who get into office and then just tweet and say horrible things, and
yeah.
I mean, it cannot be stated enough how important it is to get out and vote and do your civic duty.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, we got a little serious there and real, but fucking vote, people. God,
fucking get out there.
It takes even on a busy day, it takes maybe an hour.
Yeah. And literally, Google. If you're not informed or you don't know what the election is or you don't know where your polling place is, take 3 fucking seconds to Google, people.
Mm-hmm. It's not hard.
Not hard.
Anyways, we'll get a little bit out of the realness. Make it a little bit more
George
lighthearted.
Bush doesn't like black people.
Oh. Okay. Anyways, shortly before we started recording this podcast, we watched the brand new episode of South Park.
Yeah.
I do not remember. Was it Integrity Farms?
Integrity Farms.
Yes. We watched it and thoroughly enjoyed it while we ate Chipotle.
Yeah. Which Chipotle, please give us money to sponsor you. This whole podcast is brought to you by Chipotle.
Not really. We can't. We can't officially.
We can't. Legally, we can't.
I'm a student too, so I can't make money off of this. But that's a whole nother issue. But yeah, I watched it for the first time actually this morning.
Yeah.
Because I was bored, as you do. Yeah. But you hadn't seen it until now, and I'm curious on your thoughts about it.
I thought it was a really funny episode. Just without going into the episode too deeply, basically the themes are vaping and pot.
Mm-hmm.
And
classic.
Yeah, and I think legitimately the episode was funny, and it was also really clever because I think that there is a problem with people. I think going around with this attitude of, well, vaping's better than cigarettes or whatever is just kind of stupid. Because I mean, obviously you're still getting addicted to nicotine, and
I mean, I just prefer smoking weed over.
Yeah, well, obviously that's the least dangerous of all of them.
Nicotine addiction.
Yeah.
Non-addictive weed.
Yeah.
That's like a simple. That's all I need.
Plus, like,
I
weed
don't
has
even do that anymore.
right,
So
right. Well, but plus, weed has tons of medicinal uses, obviously.
exactly.
But so yeah, that's really good. Also, vaping just looks stupid. It's just dumb.
Yeah, it kind of makes you
Doing
look like a
vape
tool.
tricks and stuff, yeah, you look like a tool.
Yeah,
I agree with
but
that.
I mean, to each his own. Whatever. If you feel like wasting your money on what is essentially flavored juice with
Yeah, right.
with a drug in it, that's your prerogative.
Yeah, for sure.
Um.
The star of the episode for sure was Vape Man, though.
Oh, God,
yeah.
The Kool-Aid Man equivalent to vaping, absolutely
Giant vape.
genius.
Yeah.
And we should say, if we do more of these podcasts, be sure to understand we love South Park.
Yeah.
It's probably what we bond over most, as friends.
Yeah, for sure.
Is South Park.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think, for me personally, you know, I like a lot of adult animation, if you will, so Family Guy and Simpsons and Futurama and South Park and stuff.
American Dad.
And American Dad. But
all great.
There's such a clear difference between Seth MacFarlane and South Park.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I appreciate South Park because they actually have a message.
Or more of a narrative, I would say.
Well, a narrative, but they at the end of every episode, it's like in the earlier seasons when Kyle would come forward at the end of the episode and be like, I learned something today.
Yeah,
they've
figured out how to make it less dumb.
Yeah, right.
But
I still appreciate that instead of like Family Guy where the jokes are like Stewie's gay, Peter's dumb, Brian's a liberal douchebag.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Meg's just hated by everybody.
Yeah.
And Chris masturbates a bunch. I don't know. But it's stupid humor and it doesn't really have a point. And there is a place for dumb humor. We were talking about this before we podcasted.
Yeah, like if you... Me personally, I watch Family Guy when I feel like crap.
Yeah.
Like if I'm really depressed, because there's no further message. There's no like overarching. It's just dumb and it's easily digestible. It's just silly and it's a good thing.
You can just turn your mind off.
Yeah, yes. And that's the only time I watch Family Guy. Other than that, I have absolutely no respect for the writing.
Yes,
it's really. It's incredibly simple, and it's basically
super lowbrow.
This reminds me of the time that insert 90s.
You think that was bad?
Yeah, it's like.
All right. Cutaway gags. The cutaway gags are so lazy because it's just random. Anybody can just come up with a random one-off joke.
But I know that staff has talent because American Dad doesn't do cutaways. And that show's fucking great.
Yeah, that show is really funny. I agree with that.
And it doesn't do the cutaway humor, and I love it.
Mm.
And Roger's is a geniusly written character. He actually, it's the closest thing to Cartman ever written, I would say.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Just totally over the top, ridiculous, and just narcissistic.
Yeah.
But yeah, love American Dad.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, and I will say Matt Groening's cartoons are great too. Futurama and The Simpsons are really good, and those ones are less about having a political message and less about any pointed thing, but more about like just heart and emotion, and it's funny while also having some incredibly emotional moments, and especially Futurama does that really well. Mm-hmm. And they have like there's an episode in an earlier season where they take a whole episode and do it about Fry's dog back in the year 2000.
Which saddest episode of cartoon comedy ever.
Yeah, but so.
No one likes a dog. Sad.
Yeah. Sad face.
Sad.
Tears rolling down my cheeks.
Uh-huh. Anyways, as we mentioned before, we love South Park. And it's something we bond over as friends quite a bit.
For sure.
And we've been friends for quite a while, I would say.
Yep.
I don't really think anyone really cares, but we can talk about it anyways because it's my fucking podcast. We should talk about how we became friends.
Sure.
I feel like that's interesting.
Yeah, we can go into
Spur of the moment thing.
So,
I don't know if we have the same account of how our friendship started.
Well, let's just start.
It definitely happened though, because here we are now.
Yes. See, when a mommy and her daddy love each other very much.
I did not pleasure you. That did not happen. As much as you wanted to happen, I'm not into that. No, I mean. I have nothing against that sort of behavior. Totally fine.
But don't you remember behind the high school gym?
No, I don't remember.
Wasn't it just glorious?
That didn't happen.
Wait, what?
That didn't happen.
Oh, my God.
Dude,
Oh my God!
lay off the acid, God. Anyways,
Yeah.
I remember seeing you walk around freshman year. I this is kind of sad. I didn't really have friends until like my junior year of high school.
Yeah.
I kept to myself quite a bit. But I remember because you made a lot of noise. I would notice you in the hallway quite a bit. You and Jared, who's another really good friend of ours. Pimp out Jared.
Yeah.
Good friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're listening, probably
We're
not.
plugging
But
this.
I mean,
We're
I watch
plugging
your
you, Jared.
I watch
so-
your PS4 stream, so you better listen to this. God damn it.
Yeah.
Um,
Jared, find a way.
yeah, find a way.
Hashtag
I'll
Jared.
post it on YouTube.
Oh, do it.
I can totally do that.
All right. Let's. Yeah.
After I turn it in.
That's brilliant.
Anyways, but up until like past freshman year, I didn't really know who you were. I actually didn't even know your name for quite a while, until we had business.
Yeah. Was it personal finance?
Yeah, personal finance.
Because we were in that class with another one of our friends, Mark.
Yeah, who's another good friend of ours.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for the first couple weeks of that class, we still didn't really talk
No.
that much.
Yeah, I
you
remember.
and Mark were a nuisance. You got
Because we got moved to the back of the room. She like split us up. Our teacher split us up because she's like, you guys are talking and making jokes way too much.
By the way, she was a bitch. So I mean,
She was-
whatever.
yeah, I will say that too. She was a total bitch.
We're not gonna name names or anything.
No,
but
we're
she
not
was
name
she was
dropping.
awful.
Yeah, she was. Hands down.
Actually, made me try to learn personal finance, which I didn't appreciate.
Yeah, right.
She was trying to do her job, and I didn't
Just
do
yeah,
it.
fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that.
How dare you try to cram business education down my throat?
Yeah. Anyways, I remember because we would go on the computers in that class to use some of the businessy programs
Yeah.
that they had on there, and I would sit next to you and Mark, and I believe we bonded over shitty B movies because we were talking about Sharknado,
Yeah, Sharknado.
which I had actually recently seen at the time.
Yeah,
Um,
because the Sharknado thing was just becoming big. It was
Yeah.
starting to really.
but for a while, that was the only way we communicated was in that class.
Yeah,
I don't think we talked
for
to each
sure.
other outside. And then my junior year, I don't want to say exiled. I got like the group of friends I was sort of hanging out
Yeah.
with, but didn't really like that much. Kind of decided they didn't want to be friends with me anymore.
Yeah.
Fine, whatever. They all
Right.
sucked anyways. Nick, fucking prick.
Ooh,
Not you, Nick. The other Nick.
Nick,
You know
the
who I'm
other
talking
Nick.
about.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, I left that group.
Well, yeah.
And then you guys, there were what, 7 of you,
Yeah.
3, yeah, 6,
Yeah,
7,
seven,
whatever.
7, 8, yeah.
Numbers,
About
right?
that.
Numbers.
We had a bigger group for sure.
And I just sort of sat down one day,
Yeah, you
'Cause-
sat with us at lunch or something.
and I don't think I was immediately accepted into the group.
No, because you butted heads with one or two kids in the group, and in fact, one of our friends at the time, for a while we didn't hang out outside of school at all for a while because one of our friends at the time was essentially afraid of your intelligence and didn't want you to be
Oh,
a part of the group. It was like,
thanks, I
yeah,
guess.
No, he was like, oh, I don't want to, the way that he put it was, he was like, oh, he's super, he's really arrogant, so I don't want to hang out with him. And it was like, yeah, because he's going to call you on your shit.
I'm not
Yeah.
arrogant though. I got like
No,
I got
it's just because you're
bipolar
intelligent. That kid is
depression. Like
not.
I don't. I'm the least confident person out there.
All right.
I literally turned in
So-
a video for this class a couple weeks ago, and I hated it, and I turned it in anyways.
Sure, but like, so he would not allow that. That was tough because he didn't want you to be. He didn't want you to hang out with us outside of school. But I think like kind of like Jared and I recognize kind of who you are and how fun you were to be with and hang out with in our group, and so yeah. So we were because I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I was pretty integral into making you more part of our group and kind of getting you into the bigger thing. And
Yeah,
you
I
hang out
connected with you
regularly.
first,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, and now a couple of years later, I'd say you and I are closer friends than a lot of the other kids we're friends with in the group.
I mean, I think you and Jared, just because you guys
We've
have
known each other since third grade, right?
yeah, literally. But I mean,
you know.
There's no problem. That's
Yeah.
that's such a childish thing to care about. Is
Yeah,
who's
right.
my best friend? You're my best friend.
But like, yeah. So, but that's what I remember about that. But yeah, I remember meeting you in personal finance and like talking, being able. The main thing was that we were cracking jokes, and I remember
Yes.
being able to. I like that you had a really good sense of humor, and so you and I were able to crack jokes with Mark,
And also disrupt class
and
after
also
we became
disrupt class. Yeah, and so we
'Cause-
all kind of became friends, and then by senior year, you were in our group.
Mhm.
You know.
And God, 3-4 years after high school now. God, I
Yeah.
feel fucking
So
old.
junior year, senior year, freshman. So 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. 5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're doing a podcast now.
So
We both go to the same school. Don't see you very often down there though.
no, it's unfortunate. The last 2 semesters, our schedules have really matched up well. This
Yeah.
semester, not so much. But
Yeah, I get to drive you home.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you don't have a car.
but I think maybe we should every Thursday do a podcast. Turn this into kind of a at least semi-regular thing. It might be kind of fun.
If I can.
Yeah, I mean, if you're available.
Yeah.
Of course, you can edit this out too. But like,
Yeah, but
you know,
whatever.
I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I but
We'll definitely work on more topics.
I mean, no, you and I have such good chemistry.
Yep.
Come on.
Well, I was just talking to my buddy Cody, who is a graduate of my program.
Yeah.
I would love to have him on.
Yeah, that'd
we
be
gotta
fun.
find a way to get 2 mics.
Yeah.
Or another mic in.
Yeah, another microphone.
But I think you and Cody, I have a similar vocal chemistry with him too, and we're both like fucking Brewer fan. We just talk sports all the time, and I think it would make for some interesting conversations to have a little different energy going on.
Yeah, I remember that. Isn't he primarily the one who gives you shit about being a Cubs fan?
Yes.
Yeah.
And whenever something bad happens for the Cubs, he's the first
The
one.
first one to comment.
Literally the first text I get.
Oh, Jesus.
So
dude.
I mean,
yeah, that's rough.
that's fine. What's life without
But
pain?
you live in Wisconsin, so
Yeah.
get with the program.
Hey, Dad was born
Wisconsin.
in Chicago.
You were born in Chicago?
No, my dad was.
Oh, your dad was.
But I was raised a Chicagoan in
Chicago.
Wisconsin, if that makes any sense.
Yes, that does.
But anyways, I think a really good recurring segment on our podcast should be a little segment called Ask Reddit.
Yeah,
And
let's
I
do it.
know we're definitely not the first to ever come up with this idea, because I feel like I've seen it somewhere. But Ask Reddit is a Reddit subreddit, where it's just a generic question posed to the users of the website, and they're usually pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
Pretty ridiculous. But the most entertaining part is reading the comments. Now, how I think this should work is we read the question. If we have anything to give towards it,
Yeah, first reaction.
we give our reaction, and then we read some of the comments, see what some of them have to say, and react to them. Cause they're Reddit comments
are usually just gold.
They're either trash and should not see the light of day, or they're just absolutely genius.
Yeah.
And it's kind of incredible. And I got Reddit up open right now.
Half of them,
And the first one I see here is, what's the worst place you have laughed uncontrollably?
Oh my God.
I actually have a good one.
Okay, go for it.
I lost my mind at my great grandma's funeral.
Oh my God.
And that sounds terrible. It really does. I loved you, Nana. You were a great grandmother. But when my cousin accidentally sprays milk out of his nose, I'm gonna laugh. I was like 12. It was fucking hilarious. I couldn't help it.
Well, you were 12. You get a pass.
I was old enough to know what was happening,
Well,
though.
yeah, but you
I had
still-
already lost my grandpa at that point. I knew what a funeral was.
Right, but still, you're still like a kid. Like if
But
you're
it
at
didn't
like,
stop the other half of my family giving me dirty ass looks.
I'm sure, but like if you're a fully grown man and you're laughing, which, yeah.
Uh-huh. Do you have anything for this one?
I laughed. It was funny. I was at my great uncle Dick's funeral a few months ago, and we were sitting there. We had to do, it's a Catholic mass, so you have to take the Eucharist, the body of Christ, and drink and stuff.
Communion, as
Communion,
it's known.
yes, right. And I was never confirmed within the Catholic Church. I was baptized, but I was never confirmed. And they kind of have a rule that it's a no-no to take the body of Christ if you haven't been confirmed.
Wow.
And my grandparents are kind of religious, and so when he had to get up to do that, my dad went over and he was like, he's never had communion. Can he take? And my grandma's eyes were just horrified at this, and we had to try to refrain from laughing so hard. But 2 out of 3 times that I've eaten the body of Christ, it's been at a funeral, and the one time that it was not at a funeral, it was at a wedding. And they used actual bread in the wedding, and it crumbled in my hand. So, in other words, the body of Christ crumbled in my hand.
You killed Jesus.
Yeah.
You killed Jesus.
I'm concerned. But the other thing I would say is that...
What, did the wine turn to dust as soon
I
as it
was
touched
like,
your lips?
I don't want to die. The other thing was during the wedding that I went to for a family friend back this summer, we started to sing one of the hymns. And the organist was off key right away, and it threw everybody off. And so I'm just hearing people singing on different tones at different speeds and different volumes, mumbling the words.
That's incredible.
And I got the giggles, and I could not stop laughing. And I could just feel everybody looking at me around me, and I'm like, fuck. And then that happened later on because another hymn started. And the organist started to play but screwed up the note to begin with, and so she had to stop really abruptly, and everybody kept kind of singing, and so...
Oh, God. Straight up comedy of errors right here.
Yeah, I was like, oh, God. And, yeah, happy wedding! But, so...
I actually have a second example of this that popped into my brain. This actually happened, like, last year.
Yeah.
I was in the library of Madison College, which, if none of you's been there, it's a quiet place. Yeah. Like, most libraries are quiet. This place gets really quiet.
Yeah.
Like, you can hear a pin drop. And all I had was my laptop, and I didn't have anything better to do, so I was watching YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And I was watching George Carlin comedy bits. Big mistake. Big
Laugh
mistake.
Out loud in the middle of the library.
And I was trying with every fiber of my being to not
laugh.
Outwardly laugh. And I think I started making, like, guttural noises with the attempt to stifle myself, like, and I actually had, I don't know if it was a librarian or just some student that was in there, but relatively young woman come up to me like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. It's fine.
Now you see where the name Pretty Artistic comes from.
Yeah, I mean...
No, it was a special boy that day.
I am a special boy. I'm a special little boy.
That's so funny. I just had another one. One more quick pop in my head. And this one was when I was also like 12 or 13. No, I must have been 14, 8th grade. It was the 8th grade play. I was one of the main actors. 2 out of 3. No, I'm sorry. All 3 shows I managed to laugh. Because there was a girl who was also doing the play right in the middle of it. And she completely goes up. She completely forgets her lines. So it's just dead silent. We're all just standing there waiting for her to say something. And I could not stop from laughing. And our theater teacher was so pissed afterwards. She basically was like, you ruined the play. And I was like, I'm sorry. She was just awkward silence. And then... the last one we did was in front of the 6th graders. It was the 3rd show we did.
God.
And what happened was 2 of the kids, the set was almost too close to the back. So what happened was 2 of the kids were supposed to come onto the stage and sit down on a bench. And they stumbled onto the stage like they were supposed to and stumbled onto the bench and slid the bench. And the bench went back into the set and knocked over one of the walls. And we were laughing, and it was like, oh God. It was, and so that whole play, as most 8th grade plays, are just a total goddamn train wreck. And
I wish I would have been there. Unfortunately, we went to 2 different middle schools in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sounds hysterical.
It was so fucking... Yeah, and, oh, man, that theater teacher wanted my head for I was basically Jimmy Fallon when it comes to acting, because I can't ever keep a straight face.
Shame on her for assuming.
Yeah, right.
Just...
Well, shame on the girl for not memorizing her lines. Come on.
Are you seriously blaming a child right
An
now?
8th grader.
Anyways, the first comment on Reddit for this, and I read it already. Took a lot for me not to laugh at it. But it says, my boss gave a talk to a squad of disabled athletes in wheelchairs. And not only did he say that it's important to put your best foot forward, but he also said a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Oh, God.
I had to leave the room.
Jesus.
That's really funny. And like,
it's hysterical.
I always feel, I don't want to say feel bad, because you don't feel bad for people with disabilities, but like, you walk on eggshells with some of the the verbiage you use.
Yeah, you can't.
Because you could say some really offensive shit on
Totally
accident.
accident. You just completely slip up. Yeah.
I'm just looking through the next comment. They tend to be quite long. Here's the next one. This one time at a funeral, my cousin saw an older gentleman approach the casket. It was an open casket, and he started talking. No big deal. But what he said killed us. It was something like, "Hey, Jude, I'd ask you how you doing, but you're dead."
That man has a good sense of humor about death.
Do you this brings up something in my brain.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you had to look into a casket?
Yes.
For
Yeah,
relative?
for sure. It was I must have been probably like 8 or 9, and it was my great grandpa Paul. He had shrunk a lot in his old age, so he was a small man, and that was surprising to me.
Unlike yourself.
Yes, of course.
You
I'm like 5'7", but the dude
bastard.
was like 4'9".
My little twink.
Whoa, brah. Whoa.
We're not gay. Just saying. He's a twink. If he was,
Jesus.
he'd be a twink. Sorry, go ahead.
But I'd seen that, and I was like, wow, so that's a dead body. I feel like one of the kids in Stand By Me. And then it's funny you bring that up, because just yesterday, the reason Noah had asked me to do this podcast yesterday, or had brought it up yesterday, and I was like, do it today, because I had to go down to my aunt's funeral. And she had an open for whatever reason, there was an open casket there.
Ooh.
And it was just bizarre in my adulthood to see this just dead corpse lying there.
I mean,
I've done peaceful.
I've done that 3 times. All 3 of my grandparents and great-grandparent were open casket.
Interesting.
And it's really weird.
Yeah.
I can't.
You just want to like try to shake them.
Yeah, you want to
see,
like, especially since a lot of them happened when I was quite young. Like my grandpa died when I was 10.
Yeah.
And you almost want to shake them awake. Like
you're like,
hey, you're not done here yet.
Yeah, wait a minute.
But that's what came to my mind when I saw this comment.
Also, I just want to add very quickly. I can't begin to describe the level of how much it would have scared the shit out of me if she'd opened her eyes in the casket.
That's some.
I was sitting. I had to stop myself from laughing. Actually, at that point too, looking at her open casket, because I was like, "Oh my god!"
Straight up horror movie shit.
Do I see her breathing? Is she breathing? Oh my god!
My glasses, they're fogging up. Oh god. But anyway,
she just sits up. Oh god.
The next one I saw, and this one, I think this one probably takes the cake. Yeah. I had my 4-year-old daughter stand up and sing, "If You're Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hands," at my grandpa's funeral. Apparently she, there's a typo. Apparently she wanted to sing along to the hymns but didn't know the words. Funny thing is, my grandpa would have been the first to laugh at her. See, at least that's nice.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's really sweet.
It's adorable.
Yeah,
that's
great.
Really
adorable.
It's fucking great.
However, a grown man standing up and singing "If You're Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hands" at a funeral,
that might
you're gonna have some problems. Yeah, I was just glad this last funeral, "Amazing Grace," was the hymn, because literally everybody knows it.
Yeah.
So you're like, all right.
It's a pop song.
Yeah, all right.
It became a pop song.
Your token church song.
And I think, I found another Reddit comment, or another Ask Reddit, and I think this will be the last one before we wrap it up a little bit.
Okay.
And the question is, what movie made you walk out of the movie theater?
Oh, that's an interesting one. I think I've never walked out of a movie theater, but I got very close with Master of Disguise. Do you remember that movie?
I never saw it.
Dana Carvey.
I did not see it in theaters, But I actually saw it. I saw it when I used to have Charter on demand.
Oh, God.
I rented it, and I did not finish that, to say the least. And I was, oh God, like 13 when that came
Yeah.
out. Like, not,
No, well, the movie originally came out in like 2002.
yeah.
I was like 6, but even at that time, I was like, lazy writing.
Wow, you were really that much of a
Yeah.
of a critic at that age?
Yeah, I was like, wow, what a cop out.
When I was 6,
That's the 20th fart joke.
when I was 6, I just liked colors.
Yeah, and there you go. No, but literally, it was Dana Carvey. It was Dana Carvey getting into a bunch of different costumes and farting. That was the entire movie.
I fail to see the problem with that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I'm done.
I mean, as funny as Dana Carvey is on SNL, anyways.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that was the funny. In Wayne's World and stuff, like,
Yeah.
he was good.
It's surprising when someone does such a terrible job in a movie, but
Yeah. No, I mean, it's horrendous. But the writing was garbage. I mean, it was a Happy Madison production.
I mean,
what is it?
that meant
Yeah.
something in the 90s. Doesn't mean anything now.
Well, no, what I'm saying is it's an Adam Sandler picture, which, of course, Adam Sandler's production company, which, of course, means that it's going to be, like, just, like, lowbrow fart jokes the entire time.
Early on, they were good, though.
Yeah,
Like,
Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison were great, and
Yeah.
The Waterboy.
classics
Yeah,
by all
like,
recommendations.
I mean, super funny. I still quote some of that today, but, like, most of when you look Grown Ups 2, Strange
They
Wilderness.
just got lazy.
Yeah.
They just got real lazy. Like,
Jack and Jill.
like they did. I remember seeing a scene. I didn't watch the whole thing from Jack and Jill.
Yeah.
Where they're supposed to be at a Lakers game,
Yeah.
and they're clearly not at the Staples Center. They are at a high school gym with bleachers set up, and they have like 20 people behind them just to make the crowd look
Jesus.
full.
Yeah.
And they somehow got Al Pacino to be in the movie.
Oh, God.
Dunkachino, or he does an ad for Dunkin' Donuts.
Hoo-ha.
Say hello to my chocolate blend.
Oh,
Shit
God.
like that. I had never seen that movie in theaters before. If I had, I probably would have walked out of that
Yeah.
one for sure.
For sure.
But a movie that I have walked out
Yeah.
of,
Go for it.
and this was, God, Iron Man 3.
Ooh.
I'm not really a Marvel guy.
Yeah.
Never. I don't understand why they're so popular.
Well, now we're on Avengers fucking 5 million, so yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
and fucking Captain America 12.
Captain America 12. That's right. Yeah.
I don't really like them,
Right.
but I liked Iron Man and Iron Man 2.
Yep.
They were fine.
I agree.
I like Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Good actor.
Yeah.
Charismatic as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Liked
I
him.
agree with that.
But Iron Man 3 was just a mess.
Yeah.
It
Hot mess.
and it for some reason ticket prices for movies at the time had inflated a little bit.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
they were a
yeah.
little more
I
pricey.
remember that.
And I was kind of forced into going anyways. And
Was it with your family or were you with friends?
with a friend of mine?
Okay. Yeah.
And he hated it too. So we collectively walked out and got our money back. But it was just, by all accounts, it made no sense.
Yeah.
I mean, Robert Downey Jr. was him, so he was still good.
Yeah.
But one of the least entertaining movies I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
I have to say, what you reminded me of another movie that we got. I mean, very, very close to walking out on. In fact, we just MST3K riffed the movie while we were in the theaters because nobody else was there. And it was also a Marvel movie. It was like 2003's Ang Lee Hulk, which was
Oh God!
like 3 hours long, and it was Hulk with daddy issues. It was Bruce Banner's whole backstory.
Who played Bruce Banner in that?
Eric
one?
Bana.
Right. Oh
Eric
my
Bana's
God!
Ang Lee Hulk was one of the worst Marvel movies of all time.
You just brought up flashbacks. You just
I have
Vietnam War.
non-flashback- Yeah, yes.
God.
It was, oh my God. It was really depressing, which is not what you want in a superhero movie, and it was
Hulk
boring.
Smash your parents' feelings.
Yeah. Hulk have dad issues. Hulk feel bad lots of time.
Hulk go see therapist.
Hulk go see therapist.
Hulk takes knives.
Hulk has much emotion built up inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that movie was atrocious. We nearly walked out. It's hot garbage.
Yeah. I'm just again, Marvel movies in
Marvel
general.
movies are
I mean,
really, really highly hit and miss. There's some really good Marvel movies, but there's a lot of crap in there too.
yeah, like the second Avengers movie.
Yeah.
That one was pretty awful. Never
Yeah, that was
really. I
dumb.
didn't finish it, but
Mhm.
I got what I needed. My
Yeah.
biggest distraction with those is that they rely far too much on CGI.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
hardcore CGI.
As hard, like I understand they're superheroes and they can do things that normal people can't do, so it's really hard to do practical effects on
Right.
that.
Mhm.
But if that's the case, limit the amount of CGI you gotta do.
Right.
It
Just try
certainly it has to be cheaper to shoot physical effects than it is to
Yeah,
have
practical effects.
to pay
for
an
sure.
animator to do all that crap.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, like our one of our used to be friends has a huge hard on for the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Oh God, don't even get me started on those.
And it's awful. It's the CGI is just caked on, and that's a huge problem with the Jurassic movies. But that's a conversation for another time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll read one comment from this subreddit, which
Sure.
which again was what movie made you walk out of the theater?
Yep.
The first comment I see in Valerian. Do you remember that one?
Valerian?
It had that girl. Oh shit! The two. I can't even remember their names. I could Google it, but I'm too lazy.
The girl, Cara Delevingne,
Yeah, there you go.
and then that one
Like the weirdly hot one.
Yeah,
but
weirdly
has a strange face at the same
face,
time.
Yeah, it's odd.
Yeah.
And the one like token kid who's in every sci-fi movie. I can't remember. his
Yeah,
name.
I know who you're talking about. Though.
But yeah, I didn't see Valerian because
I
I
did
heard
not
it was
either.
shit.
Yeah, I heard the exact same
It's
thing.
interesting. The guy who directed it did Fifth Element, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and which makes sense because he's really good with the sci-fi. I mean, if you remember Fifth Element, it was really creative and
From what I remember,
you know,
yeah, it's been
yeah.
a while.
But yeah, no, I heard Valerian was bad, and so I didn't go and watch that. And I've seen like 5 minutes of it, but I was like, this
Yeah.
seems cliche as hell.
Yeah, the rest of the comment is, though, in Valerian, I walked out during the Rihanna part in order to pee. I came back right after the Rihanna part, missed 0% of the plot. That's a sign of a bad movie.
Yeah, right.
But this actually made me think, because it's a similar genre.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Mila Kunis in...
Jupiter Ascending.
Thank you.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I did not see that in the theater.
No, neither did I.
Did not, but I this shows my age a little bit. I rented it on DVD from Family Video.
Yeah, there you go.
Listen, all you millennials, do you remember what DVDs
DVD
are?
video stores, guys. We rented videos.
I had
DVDs.
VHS as a kid.
I have a VCR out in my basement right now.
Yeah, but Jupiter Ascending is the most nonsensical movie.
It's the biggest piece of sci-fi cliche. It's like you took every sci-fi trope imaginable and slapped them into one movie.
The sad part about that is, though, when you have such a predictable movie,
Yeah.
it should be really easy to make it make sense.
Right.
Like
And
where
it just
where
got-
you
yeah.
have she's the long lost daughter of a queen that died,
Right.
and people want her back in power because she
Right.
found out about it, and the current holders of the throne don't want her to, and it's like the battle over that.
Yeah.
Really simple plot,
Yeah.
and they managed to make it make no sense.
Yeah. I agree.
That's really sad.
Yeah, no, it's horrendous. My brother for this last Father's Day, my brother got my dad bought him an actual copy of the Jupiter Ascending DVD.
Oh my God!
so
why? As a joke?
Yeah, as a joke.
Okay.
Straight up, just as a joke. And so it
Fuck
was
you,
funny.
Dad.
Yeah, happy fucking Father's Day. And it was so funny because that night we got through half of it, and we're like, we can't do any more tonight. This is just crap. We can't watch any more. And so we stopped, and my brother and his girlfriend went home, and I guess some other night they finally finished it, but it was just horrendous.
And I don't mean to be sexist, but you can only look at Mila Kunis so long before that kind of loses its luster.
Yeah.
Like that was the only, like I like Mila Kunis. Not just looking at her, she's a good actress.
She is a good
decent,
actress. I agree.
but it was just not. It was a fucking terrible movie.
Well, yeah, it's just a terrible. The writing was awful. I mean, as I said, really cliche. It didn't make any sense. And also, yeah, making your. I will say, Mila Kunis is a good actor, and Channing Tatum has kind of grown on me. But making your two like lead actors Channing Tatum and Mila Kunis is not going to be good because I don't think they're strong enough to lead a movie and do that.
Yep.
So,
anyways, I think that does it for our Reddit, our Ask Reddit bit.
yep.
I think it worked out pretty well.
Yeah,
personally.
I like it. Yeah, I think that was
it-
really fun.
It could almost work as like an icebreaker.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
If we do this again, we should do it at the top of the show.
yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. But yeah, that's our podcast. Pretty artistic. I'm happy to be here with my friend Biggs here doing
Thank
this.
you. I'm happy to be here with you too.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, or thanks for listening, I suppose. See ya.
Bye bye.